Hey guys, and welcome back to another flashlight review. Today we're going to be looking at the Acebeam Pokelit AA in Gray. This is a little bit different from the previous Pokelits because this one has a 1000 lumen output. The other ones are about 500 lumens, so you get double the output with this light, which is quite impressive. As you see, it's tiny. I mean, it's just a bit larger than a AA cell. So I'm going to talk a bit about my experience in using this over a couple of weeks and give you my thoughts, and hopefully this will help you to decide whether it's the right flashlight for you. Nice little EDC. Overall, I'm very impressed with this little EDC flashlight. It's the first Acebeam flashlight that I own, and the finish and construction are a significant step above all of my other flashlights. And I own over 70 lights now, and after some time there are definitely some things that you notice, indicators of quality, attention to detail, things like that, which I've come to appreciate. So let's talk a bit about the overall construction, LED lens and bezel. As you can see, the construction and finish on this light is absolutely flawless. I mean, even that little detailing on the end there, matte gray finish, it's very smooth. Okay, but when you compare it to, for example, the smooth finish on any of my workhorse flashlights, you realize there's significantly more grip. So I don't know, they must use another type of anodization or whatever, but there is some nice knurling here as well. And it's also on the tail cap so that it gives you a bit of extra grip if you need to open up the light, hold it this way. I think it only opens from the head though. I wasn't able to open the tail cap. Okay, so you can only open it up from the head. I think the knurling is really elegant and effective. And yeah, if you're using sort of that cigar grip, holding the flashlight like this, or if you're holding it even like this, that sort of crosses over where your middle finger is and your index finger at the end is quite grippy. It's not going to fall out. And I don't like using lanyards on lights. I just find they're just a bit fiddly, unless it's a really large light that I'm generally concerned of dropping or hitting something with it. I don't really bother with it. Tail switch has this hardened plastic on each of the sides, so it's hard to see, but just this side plastic there, that's hard, and the top bit is made of rubber. So yeah, a couple of materials, and I think the sort of harder rubber on the side, the harder plastic on the side helps with wear resistance, but it's very satisfying to press. This is one of my favorite buttons. It's just, I don't know, the sound of it and the firmness when you press it, it's definitely not going to be activated accidentally in your pocket. Really like the precision detailing, like I mentioned before, on the tail cap as well. The double-sided clip is really handy if you want to attach this light to your hat. It doesn't tail stand, so as you got this button, you do see some lights, especially those tactile flashlights, that have a bit of a cutout at the back, so you can tail stand it, but you're not going to be able to do it with this one. And it also comes with a special battery, 14500 cell, that has a charging port. You don't see this so often on batteries, let alone a 14500 cell. And I think this is good because there is no onboard charging on this light, so this is really the only way that you're going to be able to charge it. 920 milliamp hour cell. You can use AA cells. You can use other non-proprietary 14500 cells. You can also use nickel metal hydride cells as well in the light. Now, I'm not sure exactly what LED is in the gray version. I think it's an Osram P9. I had sort of compared it to all my other lights, and it, size-wise and the look of the dome, it really looks like a P9. But if anyone has an idea of what this LED is, just let me know in the comments. Now, the lens, as you can see, it's a glass AR lens and has a nice smooth bezel as well, same diameter as the rest of the body. The LED is housed in a smooth reflector, and there's also this interesting sort of black ring around the edges. It's pretty difficult to see on camera, but just around the edges of the reflector, a bit of this black ring. And I think that's to reduce artifacts because it does take up a bit of the diameter. I mean, they could have put a larger reflector in there, but they've chosen to add that material in. So quite interesting. And let's have a look at what it compares to with in terms of my other flashlights. Okay, so here's a few of my other flashlights. An old X-Tar WK01, I believe. This is the TS10, Workhorse TS10, Sophone SC32, Make Minko FT01, and I've got the Raylight Pineapple Mini. I think it resembles, the Raylight Pineapple Mini, just a bit larger in diameter. Okay, so it is pretty small, and you're going to have no issues at all carrying this in your pocket, even a top pocket as well. It's not going to be too heavy. So I'm going to just show you what the UI is like. Now, what you have is that you can actually press the switch halfway to activate it. Okay, and sort of half press it, as you can see, and you can cycle between low, medium, high, and say you're back to low and you're happy, you've got that mode selected, fully click it, and you can activate that without having to hold the button down. Now you have to release the button. It does have memory mode, and in the manual it says 1 second, but it actually, for me, takes 3 seconds for it to remember that mode. So say if I turn it off, it's in low mode at the moment, off, 1, 2, okay, it goes to the next mode. So there's a 3 second, roughly 3 seconds from what I've measured anyway. And yeah, you can even just click it 1, 2, 3. But that's it. Very, very simple UI. You're not going to have any issues with this. It's a long way from Anduril 2. And yeah, if you just want an EDC that has just a click and go, no issues, no getting stuck in the wrong modes and stuff like that, you really can't go wrong with this one. So end up doing a ceiling bounce test, as you can see here on the screen. And as you activate the flashlight, I actually activated this on the high mode, so 1000 lumens. It lasts almost a minute, about 45 seconds on 100%, holding that 100% before ramping down. And at around 1.5 minutes, it goes to about 60% of its output and just holds. I ended the test just after 5 to 6 minutes, so it may have ramped down a little bit more further down the track, but when I was feeling, touching the light afterwards, it felt a little warm, but didn't feel like it was really hot. So I don't think that it would ramp down any further, but yeah, just something to keep in mind, because it might do, but I just didn't measure past that point. So I ended up doing some tests as well on my Opal Lightmaster Pro, and I used the 14500 cell that came with the light first, and it gets quite an amazing 100 meters of throw, nearly 101 meters of throw. The color temperature was 5364 K, so quite neutral, probably tending towards cool white, I guess. Color rendering index 65.9. Now I used a AA nickel metal hydride cell in there, and I got 63 meters of throw, color rendering index, and CRI very similar as well. So, you definitely get a reduction in candela, a reduction in brightness with the nickel metal hydride, or even just a AA cell. But I think it's fantastic that you can use those primaries in case you run out of juice. You're on the fly. I don't know, maybe you're using this on a trip or something like that. That's when those primary cells really come in handy. The Pokelit AA is rated at 1000 lumens. Overall, the beam profile is clean and unique for a reflector. In fact, I've never seen such a large, clean-looking hotspot in any of my other flashlights with reflectors. You normally get these artifacts and ringiness going around the edges, so I'm not sure how Acebeam have actually pulled this off with such a small reflector. The beam, if I were to describe it, reminds me of a beam from a TIR or an aspheric lens, but with the benefit of all the floodiness as well to see where you're walking. Okay, in terms of considerations, I found it real difficult to fault this one. I love the beam, the overall construction, the switch, the UI, that simple UI. My only gripe is that the memory mode doesn't click in until 3 seconds, and for me, I prefer 1 second so that I can access that high or low mode faster when turning on and off. But for general EDC use, completely fine. This is not going to get in the way. So overall, I'm definitely sold on Acebeam. If they can do great things with their smaller entry-level lights like this, I'm really keen to see what their larger lights have to offer. The Pokelit AA also comes in other colors and a second high CRI emitter. I recommend checking out their copper version as well if you want something really unique. It's going to be probably twice as heavy though. But all in all, one of the best quality EDC flashlights out there. Sure, you can get cheaper, even brighter lights with similar specs on paper anyway, but the Pokelit AA excels in providing extra quality, attention to detail, and that's something that I've really come to appreciate. So if you're interested in this light, I've left a link in the description. You can go ahead and check it out. And if you have questions, let me know in the comments. I'll answer them for you. And finally, if you like this video, found it helpful, make sure you click the like button. It helps me get my videos out to more people. And if you want to see me continue making flashlight reviews, make sure you subscribe. All right, so I've got the Pokelit AA. Pokelit AA in gray, 1000 lumens. Coming up. Look at that. And this is that beam that I was talking about. This nice, round, beautiful, blended beam. It blends into the spill so nicely. Look at that. Turn it off. And you kind of got to wait a few seconds. And then you turn it back on. And there you go. Just memorize that last mode. There. Another thing you can do, just sort of half tap the button, and you can access sort of cycle between low, medium, high, low. Can't really see that on camera. Medium and high. Look at that. I mean, very capable flashlight. Definitely for such a small light. I mean, it's fantastic. I'll go for a little stroll as well.